guys, welcome to Outside the Brand. This is your Friday Night SmackDown post show for September 8th, 2023. I'm your host, Phil, and of course, this is Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining me right here on your Friday nights, wherever you may be. What can I say? What can I say about the show that hasn't already been said? This show is so boring. I feel like I'm talking about Monday Night Raw right now, but no, I'm talking about Friday Night SmackDown. Seriously. I don't know what WWE has planned. But man, if they don't figure out what they need to do in order to get this show cooking with something, then I don't know how I don't know what I can I don't know what I could do. I don't know what I could do in order to make this show that much better. Because this show was just going through the emotions so much tonight. There was nothing to grab onto. Nothing. Jimmy Uso, he cost his own brother, Jey, a shot at the World Championship. He had that match for the world title. Jimmy Uso came out, cost his brother the World Championship, said that he did it out of love for his brother, saying that he didn't want his brother to turn out like Roman. I understand that, Daniel, but there's no excuse. That's no excuse for this. Jimmy Uso calls his brother Jey the match for the world title. Says he did it out of love for his brother, saying that he did not want his brother Jey to turn into Roman. Cool. I understood that to some extent. I was, honestly one of the only people out of my entire circle, or, honestly out of Wrestle Talk as a whole, honestly, that said that WWE didn't jump the shark, that they were going to really make this right in the end. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But you guys are right. They did this far too soon. They did not need to do this right now. I've said this on multiple occasions, that the Bloodline story is easily one of the best storylines WWE has ever produced. Whether you like the Bloodline, whether you hate the Bloodline story has been absolutely one of the best storylines that WWE has ever produced, bar none. Honestly, the best storyline since, I'd say, the Yes Movement. But with Roman Reigns not being there on WWE programming, this storyline is so stale. It lacks substance without Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, being on TV. And I said this on Twitter that, with everything that WWE has in store, I legitimately said this on Twitter, and I quote, "This show is so boring. This show is boring me tonight. Jimmy Uso ruined his brother's chances of winning a world title at SummerSlam. He did it because he loves his brother. But now he doesn't only want to get back into the Bloodline, but he truly believes that he is still a part of the Bloodline." Now, one of my good friends basically said that this is an L for me when it comes to the Bloodline story. And I honestly could not agree more with him when I said, When the main part of the Bloodline story isn't on the show, WWE has no idea what to do. They just throw things at the wall and seeing if it sticks. And newsflash, it doesn't. Nothing sticks. He at first wanted to say that this was an ill take, but he kind of figured out that, like, honestly, I was right in that sense because, Jimmy joining Jey to help take down the Bloodline to ultimately, just leave Jey in the dust and go right back to the Bloodline makes no sense. And, they're just trying to prolong this thing to WrestleMania so we can get Cody versus Roman and then Jimmy versus Jey. And that's what they're trying to do. And I understand that. But WrestleMania is 7 months away. Yo, what's going on last week? But yeah, WrestleMania is 7 months away. We don't need to do this right now. We didn't need to have Jimmy turn on Jey right now. When people said that, WWE jumped the shark when it came to, this whole thing going on between Jimmy and Jey, I was like, guys, what are you talking about? WWE didn't jump the shark on this. This was a great thing. This is a great decision by WWE. Build this up right now. But now I'm honestly having second thoughts. I honestly think they did jump the shark on this whole thing because look how far we have to go left on this thing. We still got 7 months to do. Jay's on Raw. Jimmy's on SmackDown. Fine, you split them. You basically did a Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio type of deal where you split them away up until you get to WrestleMania again, and then you're going to basically bring them back together. Cool. Fine. I get that. And Jay's going to have his own stories going on Monday Night Raw because Sammy's the only one that he can trust and, all that kind of a deal because everybody else on Raw hates him. Cool. Fine. I get that aspect. I really do. But Jimmy over here on Friday Night SmackDown thinks he's still a part of the Bloodline when he completely is not. And we know he is not. And then when Roman is going to come back after Fastlane, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I wanted, and I thought that we were going to be getting a Bloodline Fatal 4-Way at Survivor Series. But that's not going to happen now. I think War Games is still going to happen. So maybe with what happened tonight at the end of the show with Judgment Day, helping out the Bloodline technically to, get one over on AJ Styles, maybe they're doing War Games. Maybe it's the 3 members of Judgment Day, Jimmy and Solo versus AJ, Sammy, KO, Cody, and one other person? Maybe? Well, Jay, Sammy, KO, Cody, and AJ? Maybe? But that's such a random pairing of 5 people to go up against Judgment Day and 2 members of the Bloodline. It makes no sense. I legitimately have no idea what else they're going to be doing when it comes to that. And then, don't even get me started on what else happened on the show tonight. I mean, we had a tag team match for the women, and Charlotte and Shotzi versus Damage Control, or should I say Damage Flop, because they just lose every single time now. We're getting Asuka versus Io Sky for the Women's Championship in 2 weeks, which I love. I think that match is going to be awesome on Friday Night SmackDown, but they should have saved that for Fastlane. So maybe we're getting Asuka screwed out of the championship match on like 2 weeks from now so that we can get it to Fastlane. I don't know about that. I think we're getting LA Knight, yeah, versus The Miz next week on Friday Night SmackDown. So, I mean, I guess that's LA Knight versus The Miz on Friday Night SmackDown next week. So, I guess that's cool. We had LA Knight defeat Austin Theory tonight on SmackDown. So, there was that. LA Knight had a little bit of an interaction with Paul Heyman backstage tonight. So, that was kind of interesting. I mean, there wasn't much on this show to really grab onto. And I don't know. I don't know. Now, I don't know if this is going to. I want to highlight this, but I don't know how it's going to show up on screen. Okay, it actually does show up like that. Okay, so they've played their hand too fast for the feud. The Bloodline story is not going in the same direction. They rushed the Jimmy J feud, and now Jimmy is back in the Bloodline. Foolish. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more with that. And then what did you say after this too? They could try to bring Solo and Jimmy as a tag team to face Priest and Finn, and the OC as well as yeah. I mean, see, I don't know. I really don't know. It's so ass backwards to me at times. I didn't think that like. Usually, whenever I highlight comments and everything like that, it messes up my camera. But apparently, it's not doing that this time. So okay, it is what it is. Don't mind the dog. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is so weird. I really don't know what WWE is doing at this point in time. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna take care of this real quick. I think the barking stopped. But yeah, we're gonna get into everything that happened on SmackDown tonight, people. I appreciate you guys for joining me tonight. Even if it is, just you last week, I appreciate you joining me tonight for the SmackDown review. Right here on OTB. My co-host here, Olaf, is supposedly going to be joining us in just a little bit. It's just going to take a little bit of time for him to get in here, but other than that, we will get into everything that happened on Friday Night SmackDown tonight, and we will do it in the best way we possibly can, talking all things SmackDown here on OTB. So, guys, make sure to hit the like button. Turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. We go live on Monday. We go live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for all the weekly shows. And tomorrow we will be going live for the Saturday Collision post show for AEW. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun when it comes to that. And we will see what happens on AEW Collision. Really, the first Collision without CM Punk. Well, not really. This is technically the second Collision without CM Punk, because last week he got fired from the company. So, really the second Collision without CM Punk fully. And we'll see what that new era of AEW Collision will be like now that CM Punk is no longer with AEW. So, yeah, that's still shocking to me that legitimately happened. But hey, it is what it is. So hit the like button, turn on the bell for all notifications, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and go down into the links in the description. Follow me on social media. All the TikTok links are down in the description below, but you guys can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at @PhillyMatt_. And go down into the link in the description as well for the affiliate link. My WWE Shop affiliate link is where you guys can basically get anything from the WWE Shop And whatever you guys get, I get a small commission for it. And whatever the small commission will be, I put it right back to the channel. So you guys get great content like this each and every single time. So go get some from WWE Shop today and use my link. It helps me out and helps the channel out. So thank you for all the love and support there. Go get the merch. Teespring is the official home of OTB and its merchandise. So that link is down in the description below, as well as mine and Loft's, merch links. They're down there in the description below as well. And so I mean, we're going into the fall and winter months. Go get yourself like a hoodie, sweatshirt, do whatever you need to do. Go get the merch and rep OTB wherever you may go. And finally, guys, I want to thank our sponsor for tonight's episode, which is SeatGeek, an application you can get on your phone or just use on the interwebs, where you guys can get the best deals on tickets anywhere. SeatGeek, it has always been a very important, partner with us over here on OTB. And I would never, I use SeatGeek all the time. So if I use SeatGeek all the time, it's basically as well as honestly anybody here that is a part of the OTB, YouTube channel. Everybody on the OTB YouTube channel uses SeatGeek, whether it's Loft, me, Nate, basically anybody that has been on OTB in the past has used SeatGeek, because SeatGeek is honestly the best place to get tickets on the market, where you're getting the best deal just based on what they do to make sure that that you're getting the best deal. They basically have everything right there for you. The green dots mean that it's a good deal. The red dots mean it's a bad deal. There's yellow and there's orange as well, but you always want to go for the green. And then, based on that ticket, there's a 1 to 10 scale telling you if it's going to be an amazing deal or if it's, an all right deal or a bad deal based on what that price is. So you always want to go for the green, because those are always the best deals. And if you use the code OTB at checkout, you get $20 off your first purchase using SeatGeek. So it's a great deal. When you're saving $20 off your first purchase, you're also helping us out here on OTB, and it's a great deal. It's a win-win for you because you're saving money, and it's a win-win for us because you're helping us out with the channel. So use the code OTB at checkout for $20 off your first purchase, and it's an amazing deal for not only you, but for us here on OTB as well. So thank you, SeatGeek, for being a part of our family. We love being a part of yours, and yeah, it's great. So it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And yeah, we've been partnered up with SeatGeek for quite a while now. So it's awesome. It's a great time, So if you ever want to go to a pro wrestling show, make sure to use that code OTB at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. So there you go. Let's get right into Friday Night SmackDown, guys. Where the hell do I begin? We're in the TD Garden tonight. We were in Boston tonight. So, a lot of people thought that since we were in Boston, John was going to be on the show tonight. He was not. But he will be on the Friday Night SmackDown next week, as he will be on the Grayson Waller effect. So that's going to be interesting in itself. But we start off with Charlotte Flair making her entrance, and we're getting ready for this tag team match between Charlotte Flair and Shotzi, taking on Damage CTRLs of Bayley and Io Sky. And it was a decent match for what it was. It's interesting to see these two get partnered up against Damage CTRL again. I I understand why Shotzi's in this tag team match with Bayley, because Shotzi and Bayley have been doing their thing for a little while. But Charlotte in this honestly made no damn sense. But regardless, because Charlotte's in there and Shotzi, they won. They won this tag team match. And they got the job done over Damage CTRL. So Flair goes for the figure 8, but Bayley rolls her up, but Flair kicks out at the count of 2. Flair grabs Bayley's leg, gets a figure 4 in, but in comes Io, who hits her with a Meteora. Bayley then places Flair on the top rope, and Io hits her with a Hurricane Rana. Bayley then climbs to the top rope, and Asuka is shown standing behind Dakota Kai, which distracts Bayley. Flair then knocks Bayley down in his Io Sky with a big boot. Shotzi then hit a DDT and went for a cover 1, 2, 3, and that was it. So, first of all, I have to say that DDT by Shotzi did not look good. I'm sorry, Shotzi. I actually like you. I think Shotzi is absolutely... She's good. She's very good at what she does, but, there have been a lot of, flack as of late when it comes to Shotzi. I just didn't like the way that DDT was either executed or just sold. Either way, it just did not look right. But Shotzi did win this match for her team with Charlotte, and it definitely looked like, just based on the whole thing with Asuka, that they were setting up something between Asuka and Io Sky, and they are, because they're getting Asuka's getting a title match against Io Sky in 2 weeks on SmackDown. So there we go when it comes to that. Like I said, personally, I think they should have just saved it for Fastlane, and I hope we do get the match at Fastlane still, because, that match deserves to be on a pay-per-view and not just on a random episode of Friday Night SmackDown. So, hopefully we get screwed out of the match in 2 weeks, and then we get the match at Fastlane. That's what I'm hoping, at least. But, Shotzi and Charlotte got the win on SmackDown tonight, and Asuka is standing in the middle of the ring with the Io's championship. Io then gets in the ring as Asuka throws the title down, smiles, and left the ring. So, obviously, they were setting up Asuka and Io Sky for somewhere down the line, and they chose that somewhere down the line to be in 2 weeks on SmackDown. So, there you go. We cut to Paul Heyman, who is on the phone, and in comes Jimmy Uso. He tells Heyman that no one told him anything about being out of the bloodline, and he is in the bloodline. Heyman then tells him that Roman and Solo are not there tonight. And technically, if he is not out, he is in. He says Roman did offer a house and a car, and he tells Jimmy to handle the AJ Styles problem tonight, and if he does, he will handle Roman Reigns. And before Jimmy knows it, he'll be back in the family, back together as Heyman walks away, but he sees AJ Styles. Heyman then tells him that he was just talking about him, and Heyman asks AJ if he has enough problems in his life before he decides that he wants to get involved with him. AJ grabs Heyman, but Jimmy then attacks AJ from behind. He throws him into equipment crates, and then Jimmy walks away as Heyman calls Roman on his phone. So Jimmy is trying to basically do everything in his power to make sure that, that he's in good graces with not only Paul Heyman, but with the bloodline as a whole. So he's, helping out Heyman when Heyman's getting attacked and, all this kind of a deal here. Like, it's this whole thing. I understand what they're trying to do, believe me. I really do. Like, but if we were really just going to get to this point, we really didn't have to have any of this happen just yet. We could have waited a few months, nearing at least closer to WrestleMania instead of WrestleMania being 7 months away. It's crazy that we're doing this now and not a few months down the line. And maybe I'm just, being a strict, like, maybe I'm just, being a stickler about this whole thing. Maybe it's me. But it's so backwards to me. You wouldn't do this now to me. To me, you wouldn't be doing this right now. It's so weird. It's so weird. But it is what it is. We came back from commercial break, and Damage CTRL is backstage. Bayley asks what is basically wrong with everybody, and in comes Kayla Braxton. Bayley tells her that Asuka is not even the champion anymore, so she should not even be getting involved in anybody else's business. Io says that she is ready for Asuka, and that is a challenge for the title. And she motions to the championship. So that is basically when we got confirmed that it will be Asuka versus Io Sky in 2 weeks on SmackDown for the championship. We get back to ringside, and in comes L.A. Knight. Yeah. Huge pop from the crowd, as always. And he stands in the ring, and the fans chant L.A. Knight. He tells them, "Let me talk to you." And they pop. He asked if everybody had a chance to see what Miz did on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. He says he didn't come to play. He came to walk straight to the top. And anybody who stands in his way, the Miz knows what happens. 1 week, he plays dress up. And the next, he plays make-believe with an invisible John Cena. And the Miz says that LA Knight won because of John Cena. He says he didn't ask for John Cena's help. He didn't need Cena. He didn't need Cena's endorsement either, because he endorsed himself to stand right here. He has all the respect in the world for what Cena has accomplished in WWE, but Cena did count the 3. If Miz wants to be a cockroach and he wants to get stomped on one more time, consider your challenge accepted. But as he was basically saying that, Grayson Waller shows up and interrupts LA Knight. He says LA Knight, if that's a good idea, he asked LA Knight if that was a good idea after Miz ran through Cena on Monday Night Raw, almost like he wasn't even there. He and his associate Austin Theory were backstage talking, and he introduced Austin Theory to the crowd. Waller then says last week they had one of the biggest wins in WWE history, and they are the only tag team on the roster that are undefeated, and realistically, the greatest tag team of all time, if they ever decide to be that. I love Grayson Waller. LA Knight then tells them that they have they have to be proud because they are fan favorites, obviously, and he points to the fans, and the fans boo. Theory then tells LA Knight, "Let me talk to you." And he asked if who's the referee that helped LA Knight defeat The Miz. John Cena, the guy that he beat at WrestleMania. And he already beat LA Knight too. And at only age 26 years old, already becoming a two-time United States champion. And LA Knight has just been here. He tells LA Knight to take his 15 minutes of fame back because after he is done with him, The Miz won't waste any more of his time. LA Knight tells them that if they are done, he can show them how this is done. He calls Waller a moron and then Theory a half-wit idiot. He says TD Gardens stands for on Legends Way, and in a very legendary way, Austin Theory, at the age of 26 years old, can get his ass kicked with everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. So, there you go. The continued push for LA Knight, is continuing to happen. It is delivering on all cylinders. Everybody is so behind LA Knight. I love LA Knight. I think we all love LA Knight. LA Knight is easily one of the best things going on Friday Night SmackDown. He's legitimately probably one of the only reasons why I watch the show still, to be completely honest with you guys. And I'm just honestly giving you guys my truth here. Look, I love the Bloodline story. I think the Bloodline story is absolutely, like I said, one of the best storylines in WWE's history, bar none, since the movement. But really, after everything that we saw tonight when it came to the Bloodline story, LA Knight's legitimately the only thing that's keeping me captivated on Friday Night SmackDown. And I'm sorry, but I mean, that's legitimately my God honest truth. And that's the only thing I put out here. I put you guys out my truth, and that's what you guys come here for. So, I mean, the whole thing with LA Knight, getting his consistent push, really, really good there. In terms of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, I love them as a team. I think they absolutely are killing it right now as a tag team, or whatever this partnership is between them. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller both needed something new, and if anything, being paired up together is exactly what they needed. So I'm loving what they're doing right now when it comes to that. So they were missing something, but them together is exactly what they need. So I'm good with that, and I love that. So there you go. We got into this match with LA Knight and Austin Theory, and for what it was not bad. Not bad at all. Austin Theory, we all know how great Austin Theory is in the ring. He's just been being stale for a little while. And LA Knight, this was easily LA Knight's match to win, and thank God he did. Theory tries to throw LA Knight into the turnbuckle, but LA Knight blocks it and tries to send Theory into it. Theory stops, turns around, and LA Knight hits him with the BFT. He goes for the cover, 1, 2, 3. And that is exactly it. The BFT ends it for LA Knight. And he got the win. Waller gets in the ring, and LA Knight gets in his face, but Waller then rolls out of the ring, scared half to death, and he's like, yep, nope. Not touching that. So, gets out of the ring, and we'll have to see that match for another day. Kathy Kelly is backstage with AJ Styles, and he tells her that he is standing. He can fight. He says Jimmy can jump him from behind as many times as he wants, but nothing is going to stop him from ripping his head off his shoulders tonight on SmackDown. So, there you go. We come back from commercial break, and Paul Heyman is backstage with Adam Pearce. Heyman tells Pierce that no one can put their hands on him. He asks Pierce who will get traded from Raw to SmackDown, and in comes LA Knight, who asked for the match against The Miz next week, and Pierce says the match will indeed happen. Heyman then tells LA Knight that they have never been properly introduced to each other. So Heyman says his whole shtick, my name is Paul Heyman, and he is a big fan of his. He tells LA Knight that next time that the guy outside the door tells him that he is in here doing business, to do himself a favor and knock first. Heyman asks if they were queer, and LA Knight says, yeah. And Heyman then walked out. Very interesting to see a Paul Heyman and LA Knight exchange. I don't know if that's going to lead into anything. Could LA Knight possibly be a Paul Heyman guy in the future? I honestly don't think LA Knight needs somebody like Paul, because LA Knight's so goddamn good on the microphone enough as it is. But it's interesting. An interesting talking point, at least. So we'll see. So then the Judgment Day come out without Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley, I believe, was in India defending her championship against Natalya. I think that's what Rhea was doing tonight. I know they had that whole Superstar Spectacular thing for India. And I know Rhea Ripley was on that card. So Rhea Ripley was not on SmackDown tonight. So Priest tells them to all rise for the crew that has all the gold. Balor asks them who is better than them. Nobody. As Dominic is about to speak, the fans boo loudly. And he says that Rhea is in India, being the most dominant WWE Women's Champion of all time. Priest says that they are proud of Rhea, and they are also proud that they all accomplished something that not even the Bloodline could do. Something not even Roman Reigns could do. They not only beat Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but they took the Undisputed Tag Team Championships away from Zayn and Owens. Dominic then begins to speak one more time, but the crowd boos again. And he says that they are the most dominant group in WWE. Out comes the Brawling Brutes, which says that it's fight night. And Holland mentions that Dominic said that they are the most dominant group. Holland says that the Brawling Brutes are here in Boston, and that's the Judgment Day could have not picked a worse time to be their opponents. But it's not him that they have to worry about. It's Butch. Balor starts to laugh and points to Butch, saying that, dude, I'm not worried about him. Look at him. And then Butch twists Balor's fingers, and then they throw Priest and Balor out of the ring. And here we go with this tag team match between the Brawling Brutes and the Judgment Day. And again, not a bad match. Not a bad match by any means. Judgment Day picked up the win, as they should, and it wasn't anything too flashy. But it was okay. It was good for what it was. I mean, look, guys, I would love to go into more detail when it comes to these matches. But these matches don't mean anything. But if these matches meant more than what they were advertised, then I'd be going a lot more in depth and I'd be talking about these teams a lot more in detail. The Judgment Day aren't on Friday Night SmackDown. They came to Friday Night SmackDown tonight, but that's not their primary workplace. Their primary workplace is on Monday Night Raw. They run Monday Night Raw. So their stuff is going to happen on Monday Night Raw. This was kind of just a token because they're the Undisputed Tag Team Champions and they can appear on SmackDown if they want. It is what it is. But Butch hits Priest with a kick and then tags in Holland. Holland hits a tackle and then Butch climbs to the top rope. As Balor pushes him down, Priest hits Holland with a South of Heaven. He grabs Butch and hits him with a South of Heaven as well. Balor then tags in and hits a coup de grace on Holland, and Balor goes for the cover 1, 2, 3. So as they celebrate in the ring, Bobby Lashley's music hits, and out comes him and the Street Profits. All 6 of them stand in the ring at the same time, and Lashley gets in Damian's face, Ford in Balor's, and Dawkins in Dominic's faces. Lashley that tells them that they are right, that the bloodline are crumbling, but it's not the Judgment Day taking over. It's them. Very interesting there. I love Bobby Lashley's new thing with the Street Profits. So Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Damian, and Dom with the Street Profits. I absolutely love that. I think that's absolutely great. Give that to me all the time. Seriously, I think that would be really good to see. We just gotta see what the hell they're doing when it comes to that group. So hopefully we figure that out very, very soon. The OC and Michin are backstage, and in comes AJ Styles. He asks if they know what the hell is even going on tonight. Carl Anderson said, "Yeah, man, we do. You're gonna face Jimmy Uso tonight on SmackDown." And he asked them if they saw what Jimmy did when he attacked them from behind. Anderson said that he was sorry that happened to him, and then AJ slammed Anderson's phone onto the ground. They argue, and AJ tells him, or basically all of them, that he doesn't want any of them to get involved in his business tonight. He doesn't even want them at ringside. So it's very interesting that happened. I don't want the OC to be broken up. I think the OC is absolutely a great asset to the SmackDown roster. But it could happen. We could see them break up. I don't want it to happen, like I said, but it could legitimately happen. So we come back from commercial break, and Asuka's backstage because her promo. She says that Damage CTRL forgot about her and that she was a champion before all of this, so she will take the title back. We'll see. It's in 2 weeks. I highly doubt it. We'll most likely get this at Fastlane anyway. So there you go. And then we got to the main event. It's legitimately this quick, guys. We got to the main event. And the main event was obviously the best part about this whole show, in terms of match quality wise. AJ Styles is fucking fantastic. You guys thought I was gonna say phenomenal. Yeah, fuckers. But nah, he's absolutely fantastic. Jimmy Uso, he's great at what he does too. But yeah, this was all just, according to everything that was happening here. So so at this point in time, Solo Sikoa is on Friday Night SmackDown, and he was with Paul Heyman here. So Solo and Paul Heyman were standing at ringside this entire time. And AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm, but Jimmy moves out of the way and AJ Styles lands on his feet. AJ grabs Jimmy and slams him onto his knee, a Yoshigoroshi. He goes for a cover and Jimmy kicks out. AJ then lifts Jimmy up, but Jimmy lands on his feet and a kick is followed by a right hand by Jimmy. Jimmy then grabs AJ, but AJ hits him with a DDT. He goes for a cover, but Jimmy kicks out at the count of 2. And AJ gets on the ring apron. And he is distracted by Solo Sikoa as Jimmy hits him with a super kick. Jimmy then throws AJ to the outside, and then Jimmy tries to talk to Solo, and Solo turns his back. And AJ slams them both from behind, or attacks them both from behind, and then AJ throws Jimmy into the ring. He hits him with a phenomenal forearm. AJ goes for the cover, 1, 2, 3, and that is it. AJ wins this match. Solo then gets into the ring, and AJ leaves scot-free. And out come Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day, who attack AJ from behind. They throw AJ into the ring to basically give like a sacrificial lamb to Solo Sikoa, and then Solo hit him with a Samoan spike, and that led to Priest and Balor just at ringside, just doing their Judgment Day thing. And that was it. That's how the show goes off the air. That's how it all fades to black, and that's it. We don't know what the hell is going on. We don't know if the Judgment Day are working with the Bloodline at this point. We don't know anything. It's all up in the air. And while it was a very good main event, Judgment Day getting involved with the Bloodline business, I don't understand that whatsoever. Because you got the Judgment Day now, you got the Bloodline, you got the OC, you got Lashley and Street Profits. There's like 4 groups right now on Friday Night SmackDown that we don't know what the fuck is happening. And that could mean a lot of things. Right? I mean, we don't know what's happening with the Bloodline. We don't know if Jimmy is a part of the Bloodline or not. The OC look to be gone. It's looking like they're not going to be a thing much longer. The Judgment Day are legitimately probably the only ones. No, Lashley and Street Profits aren't doing too bad. But the Judgment Day are really the only ones out of those 3 right now that I named that are strong. Looking strong in all of this. And then we don't know really the motives of the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley just yet, because they're honestly brand spanking new and we don't know much about them yet as a group. So this faction warfare type of thing with the 4 factions in Street Profits and Lashley, Judgment Day, Bloodline, and the OC, we don't know what the hell is happening. And it's very interesting to see that we could have some sort of like faction war between all these four here, but also it's just very fucking confusing. And I feel like SmackDown has just been losing its sense of direction as of late. We don't have a sense of direction on Friday nights. And that's mainly the problem. When you don't have a sense of direction on a pro wrestling show, it's kind of hard to keep fans invested. And this was a very boring episode of Friday Night SmackDown tonight, all things considered. And the title of this whole thing, who's coming over to Friday Night SmackDown? I mean, my best bet is still Cody, but we didn't get any indication on who's coming over to Friday Night SmackDown tonight, so I'll most likely change that title once I get the hell out of here in a few moments. But the show was bad tonight, guys. The show was not good. And I hate to say it, but even though it's a longer show than what, a lot of us usually want on a Monday night, I'm enjoying Monday Night Raw a hell of a lot more than I'm enjoying a Friday Night SmackDown. And I'm probably not, like, it's sad. It's sad. But that's what's happening right now. And I don't know what's happening. But at the end of the day, WWE needs to figure out what they're doing when it comes to SmackDown. Because SmackDown's not really all that good. And it's not grabbing anybody's attention. And with football legitimately just around the corner, well, we're in football season now. Week 1 started last night. With football season now happening, it's not looking good, people. It's not looking good for WWE. But guys, that's it. That's it for your Friday Night SmackDown post show. I appreciate you guys for joining me here. Let me know what you thought about Friday Night SmackDown tonight, people. In the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, at @FillyMount_. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for the Collision post show on OTP. Have a great rest of the night. Stay safe. God bless. Peace.